Hello, welcome to SquishiVision. We're here again. Excuse my exhaustion and a bit of day's nature. That's because I've just come back from a LARP festival, so I've been away all weekend. Hence a scratch in my head. But also this show. A lot has happened in my life since 2021, and watching this show back in 2021 was kind of like the time of life where I was going through an ending of stability. So, as somebody gets very emotionally connected to things, there's just like a lot here, I guess, is what I'm saying. In the sense of, let's bring up memories. So let's try not to dwell too much on that, however, and talk about this episode. Okay, let's be clear, because a lot of reviews, or at least generally now, are going to be like, this is Marvel back at its kind of promise after a disappointing 2023, says space.com. I actually liked Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. In fact, I liked most of the films of 2023. I think Secret Invasion was perhaps the less good of them all. Maybe even kind of bad. But I like Ant-Man and Quantumania. So I'm interested to see kind of where the series is gonna go, because Loki kind of kickstarted off the multiversal saga. So we had the end of that season with He Who Remains being killed, and the promise of more Kangs, and then that promise kind of got delivered in ways which were not really connected, but you can link back. The fact that Doctor Strange was able to pull beings from other dimensions through that were implied not to have existed prior to that. The fact that Doctor Strange was able to like fall through all those multiverses, that was also a thing. And then obviously we get to the point here. And so it's kind of interesting to go back to a season that becomes increasingly more series, that it has become increasingly kind of more relevant. I want to see how that kind of, because we were promised actually a kind of trilogy between Loki, No Way Home, and Multiverse of Madness. And really none of them had anything to do with each other apart from the fact that they all had to do the multiverse. And like, it's not completely separate, but they didn't really have anything to do with each other. So yeah, kind of seeing what's happening there and how the show's gonna kind of continue that is interesting. But for the most part, this episode's fairly self-contained in its own narrative. It picks up exactly where we left off from the last season. And the implication we got from the last season, the strong implication, but it wasn't really confirmed, was that Loki had appeared in the TVA from another dimension, like a multiverse TVA, because now we have multiple Kangs, we have multiple TVAs. Actually, that's not the case. He just appeared in the same TVA, but in the past, and the reveal is actually not that he has turned up to an alternate dimension, but that the TVA has been around so long that there was a version of a TVA that was, like, even actually looking at kind of some of the murals on the wall with multiple heads, there's a TVA run by multiple Kangs. Apologies. A TVA run by multiple Kangs. I mean, at some point, everyone had their memory wiped at least once, or at least twice, whatever. and things are built over to disguise Kang's presence in the scheme of things. So that's the kind of reveal that we get in like the first half of the episode. Whilst everyone's kind of panicking, we see the TV in like 3 different eras. We see like the younger version of some of these characters. If you don't know Loki, we see kind of older versions of these characters. The TVA is kind of dealing with ramifications. Mobius and Hunter B15 are kind of explaining what's happened, and there's like a disagreement between like the judges. Well, the two who seem to be awake. One of the judges is Judge Gamble is like, well, it's changed everything. We need to like stop the pruning. This is where we stand. While General Doc's like, this changes nothing, and it's kind of like, well, this is kind of actually the same conflict that Loki and Sylvia had. I mean, Loki appears, and before he gets onto and Tom Hiddleston does a really good job of like showing that kind of panic, the whole that kind of rambling panic, like considering this is scripted and he has to learn these like lines and deliver them. It's kind of impressive. And you can see that he's got to basically deliver it as if he's just spouting out kind of non sequiturs. So that was kind of cool. And before he's really able to kind of, it's unclear how much he really tells Mobius, or I don't know if what he told Mobius doesn't really capture the gravity and the full extent of the situation that they're all in. Whether he's going to get a chance to explain in much more detail later or off screen, or whether that's all Mobius gets and we're, as the audience, might just assume he understands it as well as we do, having seen it. I don't know. It would be like a convenient time to have like a good recap to explain to his character, like narratively, but so that's the first half of the exposition. And then the second half is basically trying to solve Loki's issue about time slipping and bouncing kind of back and forth in time, and how to fix that and stop him doing it. And that's a kind of a fun little adventure. Mobius has to go and risk his life to get Loki back, and it's very kind of heartfelt, his whole kind of actual care for Loki. He has to go like out to the time stream and plug everything into a thing, whilst the time energy rips away his suit and potentially his skin. Whereas Loki has to, at the right time, prove himself, but he gets obviously time slipped at that moment in time to the future. Now, for the first and only time so far, TVA is much more in danger, so whether this is an altered dimension or the same TVA, but he gets put to the future, and he has to find himself a stick to prove himself at the right time. He struggles, he finds a Sylvia trying to burst himself out of a lift, a phone ringing, none of it explained. When he gets pruned by someone behind him, again we don't see who, so mysteries are being brought up to us. In the meantime, we meet the namesake of this episode, Ouroboros, OOB, played by Ki Kwan of Parasite and Indiana Jones fame, and he is just a absolute great character to watch. Kwan plays the role very, very well. The whole kind of like, you can believe he is someone who has spent like thousands of years on his own. He's not a goofball. He's not like insane. He's not like like completely like he can't understand what he's going on about. But there is a kind of like quirky nature to him, and quirky is hard to do right. It's hard to be endearing. And this actor does a fantastic job of just nailing it down. I think he's gonna be like one of the standout. I mean, lots of his series has standout characters. I think he's gonna be a standout character for people to look out to. And we get a post-credit scene with Sylvia. The Sylvia who was abandoned at the TVA. Sorry, at the end of time. she goes into a alternate version of Earth, a version of Earth, and just wants to like live a normal life. And it's kind of keep moment to end on. Obviously, we probably it's not gonna almost certainly not gonna be how things end up, but it's kind of sweet that that's kind of her goal with all this. What else? Yeah, I mean, it's like we never left the series. There's not kind of any kind of shift. The momentum is being carried on. Set design all look fantastic. Visuals all look fantastic. Acting's all fantastic. Can't fault any of it. It's really, really good. It's really strong. It's not much happens in this episode because it's all exposition, but like, you know, it's delivered so well, I guess, in a sense. Apart from that time, I don't know whether I meant to understand if Mobius understands or not. The TV is becoming fractured. I think next week we'll get a better idea of the trajectory of the season. I think we'll get like an idea of what the kind of like aim is. I think this is kind of like just a reintroduction to our characters, and I think much like in the first season of Loki, the first episode of Loki 2, you know, or the Glorious, whatever. I think something along the lines of trying to like it'd be interesting if to go back on this and like try to like unify a timeline, just from a meta sense as well, because I think Marvel embracing the concept of the multiverse has kind of bled through, and now every film is kind of every film exists and also uses a version of everything, and you can't really walk back from that. So it'll be kind of interesting to see where we go with that. Yeah, strong opening, strong promise. Can't fault it. Nothing was cringy, even the bit where he jumps to a mail cart, accidentally causes it to crash into the building and it falls, and there's a kind of a brief moment where a joke, it gets a bit dark, and it's like he caused that death of that person because he made the taxi fall down, crash, and a bit afterwards shows that the taxi's flying off, but that was kind of funny. Anyway, clearly I am unable to word properly because I'm slow on my words because how tired I am. So I'm probably gonna end things there. Thanks for tuning in, and what day is it? Sunday, so Thursday you'll probably see me for Lower Decks, and then Friday Loki, and then somewhere else. Anywho, goodbye. Get out of my house.